Oh, them Golden State Warriors looked pretty good last night at the Crypto.com arena, formerly called the Staples Center. Let's be honest, we all kind of call it the Staples Center. We'll touch on the Lakers later. But on the Warriors side of it, I know people are like, well, Bryson, come on, LeBron wasn't there. And obviously it would have been a whole different ball game. I'm not sure it would have been a different outcome, but it would have been a different ball game if LeBron James was out there. Luka would not have had to shoulder the low. We'll talk about Luka, JJ Redick, and some of those stories with the Lakers a little bit later. But for Golden State, here's what I loved about last night. Absolutely loved. Because I talked about yesterday when I said, knock on wood for health, I'm the biggest knock on wood in the history of the show, and I'm keep doing it because I want it to happen. If Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green are healthy, this team is going to win the championship in 2026. I said that last night, staking my claim to it. Certainly, I feel great about that today. We got a long way to go. It's game 1 of 82, and then you got a big playoff run coming up starting in April. But Steph was pretty good. Steph was actually really good in the defensive end. He had 3 steals. He had a block in the fourth quarter and a 3-point shot. Steph was solid defensively. Obviously, he hit the dagger. I wish he'd have done the night-night, but that's okay. He can save that for later in the season. But Steph was fine, 23 points, relatively efficient, although he would like to bump those numbers up to a certain degree. Draymond Green did his thing on the defensive end. What I loved about last night was 2 individuals in particular, because we see the depth. We see guys like Buddy Hield hitting 5 threes off the bench. We see guys like this kid. Listen, y'all know as a Vols fan, you see my Vols stuff over there. Y'all know I don't give Florida Gators love on the show, but that kid we got, Will Richard, like him a lot. I think we may have gotten a nice little steal. Had a long career at Florida by college basketball standards. Played pretty well off the bench last night and played pretty good for the preseason as well. So I like him. Al Horford, did what he could, grabbed some rebounds. It was 2 individuals. Jimmy Butler. Can we show you what Jimmy Butler did last night against the Lakers, leading the Warriors in scoring? 31 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 50% from the field, 50 from 3, although he only took 2 attempts, 16 for 16 from the free throw line. And I said this last year, what Jimmy Butler provides this team, on the face value, and something that I implored and kept going over and over and over on this with the Warriors last year. Guys, Mike Dunleavy Jr., get Steph Curry a number 2 guy. Get him a guy that can take the offensive load off him to where Steph doesn't have the ball every single possession, to where Steph isn't getting triple teamed in late fourth quarter games because no one else on the floor. Andrew Wiggins does not scare you. Obviously, Jimmy Butler does. But the 16 for 16 from the line, because he drives so much to the basket, he's going to get to, Luka does this. He's going to get to the basket. He's going to get to the free throw line. Take a breather, slow down the tempo. Jimmy, you knock down your free throws. And then you go from there. So it conserves Steph's energy, so he has more for later in the game. It conserves the Warriors' defense, lets them get their defense set, which has made them a better defensive team. So Jimmy Butler's impact on the Warriors goes well beyond scoring. Yes, he can score. We know he can give you the occasional 30-point game. We know that he's capable of playoff Jimmy games, although we didn't necessarily see that last year. I think his health, that injury in game 2 against Houston might have hampered him in that regard. We'll see what happens this postseason when we get there. But that's what Jimmy Butler provides to this team. And Jimmy actually talked after the game. This is one of the other reasons, I think, just a small reason why I think the Warriors are going to win the title. The vibes on this team are just off the charts. Like, Warriors fans know the Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield dynamic is pure comedy. It's phenomenal. Even at the end of his presser, we don't have the clip here, but the presser, Jimmy says, "Hate you, buddy." Like, it's just a funny dynamic. This is Jimmy Butler talking about how during the offseason when the Warriors were, hanging out at Jimmy's house and playing basketball and having some wine and playing dominoes or something along those lines, Jimmy Butler talking about a competition and a bet he made with Draymond about his free throw shooting.
16 at the line. What do you want to shoot percentage-wise?
What do I want to shoot? I got a bet with I don't think it's a bad bet, but it's kind of a bad bet. With Dre, that I got to shoot a better percentage than number 30 on our team. Yeah, right? Ooh. Yeah, so.
You think you can?
Of course I think I can.
Well, so far after a pretty good start, although both of them are 100% from the free throw line this year. Steph was 8 for 8 for it last night. Jimmy Butler doubled that, 16 for 16. So, listen, if Jimmy Butler ends up winning the free throw title for the Warriors over Steph Curry, then he'll have had one of the best offensive seasons of all time, at least in Warriors history. But aside from that, One of the big sort of wild card questions for this Warriors team was this, because we know what Steph's going to give you, Draymond's going to give you, Jimmy Butler's going to give you. We know what the veterans like an Al Horford, like a DeAnthony Melton, even to a certain degree, we know what some of the younger guys like a Brandon Pajemski and Moses Moody, we know what they're going to bring to the table. Quentin Post to a certain degree. The ultimate wild card was the guy who is probably, there's no probably on the first part, is the most athletic player on the Warriors, might be the most naturally gifted player on the Warriors outside of Steph, Jonathan Kuminga. And there was, Warriors fans know, NBA fans know, long stalemate over the course of this offseason, ranged from the start of free agency up until literally weeks ago. Jonathan Kuminga getting locked in to a deal with Golden State. And there's still rumors, the Warriors are going to trade him or whatever. We got to see how that plays itself out. Jonathan Kuminga's role with the Warriors has always been a matter of fit, because he's not a natural shooter. He's a good defender who maybe could add, a little bit more effort on the defensive end. A lot of times, and Steve Kerr talked about this after the game, he'll take the ball into a double team in the post, which drives me crazy every time he does as the Warriors fan, because he either throws up an off-balance shot, a wild shot, or he turns it over, and we just wasted a possession. He can be a bit ball dominant, and that's not Steve Kerr's system. If last night was any indicator, oh boy, I think we've got something here in Jonathan Kuminga. Here's what he did last night against the Lakers. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists for Jonathan Kuminga. 6 for 11 for the field, 4 for 6 from three-point range, 1 for 2 to the line. So wait a second. Jonathan Kuminga is passing the ball better, so he's more comfortable in the system. And he's got a three-point shot now. Jonathan Kuminga was always able to hit the occasional three. Is this going to be something he's able to do on a consistent basis? Is this going to be a situation where the Warriors, anytime they go into a game, because Steve Kerr started Kuminga last night. He started Draymond at the 5 and, Kuminga at the 4 with Steph, Pajemski, Butler, as the 1, 2, and 3. You mean to tell me that when teams game plan against the Warriors, they got to worry about that guy shooting threes now? So obviously all the attention is going to go to Steph. There was one play where it was Luka, and I forget who the other Laker was. It was a screen and roll, or a pick, weak side pick with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. 2 guys go to Steph because of the gravity brings. Jimmy Butler gets a free roll to the basket, and that's going to happen. It's happened throughout all of Steph's prime. But now you can trust that guy to hit a corner 3, to hit a big time 3 on the wing. Oh boy, that adds a whole new dynamic to this Warriors team. And given what he gave you on the defensive end, with his athleticism, that's scary. But in a bigger sense, in a larger sense, I'm shocked at the number of people this morning on television, radio, podcasts, the true basketball heads, they're not surprised by this. I'm shocked at the people who were not shocked by last night's opening night, but were a little like, oh, wow, this team is good. Did you watch the second half of last season? Because if I remember correctly, we could show the numbers what the Golden State Warriors were. After acquiring Jimmy Butler, they were one of the 5 best teams in basketball. We can show you the numbers. Okay, say that the third best record, and by the way, this is since they acquired Jimmy, so last night is included in this. 24-8 since acquiring Jimmy. That's the 3rd best record in the NBA in that span. 8th best offensive rating. And I said this last night on the show. Number 1 are the Golden State Warriors in defensive rating. I keep hearing about the size issues, which I think that's overblown. A, Draymond plays bigger than he is. B, added Al Horford. C, Jonathan Kuminga can play big, and we know obviously Quentin Post as well. So the Warriors have size. That's not the issue that folks like to make it out to be. Are they as big as Houston? No one's as big as Houston, but the Warriors are fine in that regard. They can lock you out in the defensive end. They've got outstanding perimeter defenders everywhere. Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga now appears to be more locked in the defensive end. Once Anthony Melton comes back, he's a good defender. Even Steph, who's never been accused of being a great defender, plays his butt off on that end of the floor. And you got shooters everywhere. Steph Curry, Brandon Pajemski, Al Horford, Buddy Hield. Jimmy can hit the occasional 3. Maybe Jonathan Kuminga can hit the 3-point shot. 4 for 6 last night. That's a pretty good sign, right? DeAnthony Melton can hit the 3. Seth Curry, when he joins the team next month, he's able to hit the 3. Moses Moody can hit the 3. This team, said it before the season, we're seeing it right now in real time, is absolutely, positively terrifying in the Western Conference. And listen, the West is 10 times better than the East. The Knicks should have a free roll to the finals unless someone else gets Giannis. You got Houston, OKC, who we'll talk about in a second, but you got Houston, Oklahoma City. You got the Denver Nuggets, who are the team I fear the most in the West. You've got teams like Minnesota, who's made back-to-back Western Conference Finals. West is loaded. But the one thing is, many great players in the West. Jokic is the best player in the world. Luka might be trying to stake his claim for that. I'll talk about Luka and the Lakers in a second. Loved what I saw from him. Plenty of great players in the Western Conference. What they don't have, great as they are, A, the depth the Warriors have, B, the shooting the Warriors have, C, the defense the Warriors have, and D, the greatest shooter ever, who happens to be the baddest man in the history of basketball, who happens to be as well last season, age 37 years old, by the way, when he was averaging 22, 23 a game, not a great efficiency, because I don't know, he was a 37-year-old without a second co-star. Well, when they added that second co-star, Jimmy Butler, this is what Steph Curry was in the last portion of the regular season, from February 8th on to the rest of the regular season. 27 a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 45 from the field, 39 from 3 on high volume, by the way, 93% from the line. So classic old school Steph Curry, giving you a 25 to 27, great efficiency. Any given night, like a game I attended against the Orlando Magic, where he's bombing threes from half court, off the dribble, behind the back threes, catch and shoot. We know that all the tricks that Steph Curry has in the bag, or the 50 burger he had against Memphis, where he hit, I think, 12 threes in that game. This is a scary, scary team in the West. And I'm excited for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be like let's see where both of these teams are, because Golden State plays Denver, and I said it last night in the show, I think that's going to be your Western Conference Finals. Denver is the best player in the world, champions from 2023. They brought back Bruce Brown. They're crazy deep, but that team is as a Warriors fan, they make me nervous. OKC does to a degree, but the Warriors took 2 of 3 off the Thunder last year. The Thunder faced 2 Game 7s. It's not to take anything away from OKC, but they're not this unbeatable juggernaut that folks have tried to make them out to be. Great team, amazing defensively. The Warriors can be able to combat that with what they bring to the table on both ends of the floor. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.